Hello gainers, Ralphie here on location during a lockdown 2020, and I'm here to provide some gains for your fitter philosophy, because we're all gainers. It's part of the purpose of life, is to learn from the experience to prepare us for the next. And every now and again opportunities come along for us all, which don't look like opportunities. They look like threats, they look like inconveniences, they look like disruptions, and they're a cause of distress and fear. However, if we are stoic about it, properly stoic about it, one of the skills is to look at the situation beyond the normal range of vision, and you will find that we are surrounded by people during a lockdown who have confined themselves to their homes. They may go a brief walk for daily exercise, but they're spending too much time eating too much, drinking too much, watching too much propaganda on television, or too much superficial entertainment online. But most of all, they're simply not thinking enough for themselves. They're relying on others. And a true stoicist does think for themselves. And I want to provide you with a thought to help give you my perspective to benefit your train of thought. Here goes. Now, the summary of my subject in this video is the positives of the pandemic. And one of the positives is that suddenly, unexpectedly, we have more time on our hands. And importantly, our normal living routine of constant daily hustle bustle, working and making plans gets very suddenly disrupted. And for the human condition, this is a bit of a shock. But there are people who are taking opportunities from this unpleasant situation to do things that they wouldn't normally do. And one of the important things that people are taking the opportunity to do positively is to have a good old clean-up of their environment. And by environment I mean the house, the space in which we live, the space in which we sleep, the space in which we spend an awful lot of our time. And over time we do our daily cleaning routines, and that's all very well, but to have a proper, comprehensive, deep clean clear up is different. It's requiring much more time, much more focus and more energy than we would normally give. And this is where the opportunity arises, because as we proceed and go to room in our houses, probably starting with the bathroom, because it's the smallest and easiest to clean, and then we move on to the kitchen, of course, and we clear out the cupboards, we dust things down, we check the sell-by dates on the tins, we check in the cutlery drawer and in the pot rack that everything is properly clean, and we get out the wet cloths and the detergents and all these surfaces that we've been missing for a few weeks, maybe a few months, even a few years. They get properly, comprehensively cleaned. The carpet is vacuumed far more thoroughly than usual. Furniture is moved to get access to the dusty bits that never get stood on, under the settee, behind the cabinets. And even as we're doing this without realising it, gainers, as we deep clean our house because of the presence of time, and because it is such a great distraction from all the propaganda we're getting bombarded with, not just by the media, but by our own community, by our family and friends, and sometimes, unfortunately, even ourselves. Suddenly that's put on standby, that's put on hold, that is put aside. because we're deep cleaning the house. And as we do so, we find our mind is cleaning as well. The process of physical cleaning helps with mental cleaning. It's just one of these things that happens. We find ourselves getting mentally organised, and this provides yet another opportunity, and that opportunity is for the clear up, the comprehensive clear up of the clutter in our lives. Because if you know any old people, and many of us do, you will find that they spend their life increasingly surrounding themselves with yesterday's little treasures, and as time goes on, they're too busy looking backwards with all these reminders around them to be preparing and moving forward and embracing life ahead of them. And it's one of the things that ages us, is the holding on to the material things from our past. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a few important and precious things, but let me put it to you this way. Once we've had a damn good clean up, and once we start to look at the clear out from what we've cleaned up, it's not just the physical things in the house, but it's the clutter in our mind as well that distracts us and holds us back, that is self-censorship and makes us weaker and more vulnerable to the censorship that is imposed upon us and that we willingly embrace. I'm Ralphie. This is some fitter philosophy. I hope you find it useful. I am now going to leave you with a few minutes of beautiful, tranquil, peaceful, fresh air rich scenery. The stand that's waiting right behind me. Thanks for watching.